All right, guys, let's go ahead and start this before we're ready. You'll note that Katie is taking care of something, but Anitha is out here like, what is this? Is that your B impression, Anitha? Because it's not very good. So, Anitha, did you even read this book? Does anybody know?
She did.
Read this book?
She did.
She did? All right, well, finally. What's up, Melissa? Hello, Anitha, I guess. Well, guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria, where you get sporadic content, but it's a game to know when it will come up and should a live stream be scheduled. If I did not have a team of people propping this empire up, I would forget every one of them. And just completely, I have not had good luck the last week with just remembering that I have things. And I'm just like, oh. But we're here to talk about the what? What is this? What do you mean our external mic isn't plugged in? Can y'all
How does she know?
Can y'all hear
I was
me?
wondering that. It sounded like a webcam mic, but I don't know.
Y'all should have said something. Can y'all hear me now?
It's better, yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me check my dang audio. Mic, it's using the. Oh, do you know what mic it's using? My PS5 controller, which is on my tower. Oh my. Hold on. We got real professional stuff going on here, guys. This is why we can't make the time. All right. Is that better?
Live.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Am I good? Is my audio good?
Yeah, it's much better.
Yes, much
Cool.
better. All right, cool. All right, so we're all better. Whatever. Thanks, Evie. There were 3 people here. Not one of them told me that it was coming from a PS5 mic.
I didn't know.
I don't know what that sounds like.
Yeah, I don't either.
All it tells me is that y'all think that my content normally sounds terrible. Because y'all are like, yeah, this is pretty good. So, we're literally about to start spoilers. Like the second I start talking about this book, we're gonna talk about spoilers, Mitch. It's a book 2. There's no point in talking to non-spoiler stuff. If Pete shows up, I'm gonna give Pete just enough time to back off before he hits the spoilers. So
He called out of work.
no, he should be done by now. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Liberation. I am joined by Sam and Katie again, and this time, rather than Pete, we have Charmaine. Definitely an upgrade for guests here. So we're gonna very briefly, the only non-spoiler stuff we'll talk about. What are general thoughts, impressions of the book, especially compared with book 1? I personally like this book. I liked each subsequent book better than the previous one. I'm one of the only ones who liked, like, the people who have finished book 3. There's me and like a couple other people who really liked it. A couple people didn't like it as much as the second book, which they're wrong. So y'all just listen to me. I am going to not talk about, I remember what happens in the 3rd book, so I'm not going to spoil stuff. Yes, Sal and I are on the same page. Like, Sal and I are on the same page. Everybody else is wrong. But I enjoyed it more. I thought the conclusion was good. I mean, there are some things that happen that it's just like, well, it's convenient. But I mean, I play JRPGs where everything is convenient always. So, and everyone is related to everybody else. So I liked it a lot. I liked the addition of the Longchamp, or that's Longchamp as the narrator says, but I say Longchamps. I like Longchamps. Hugo, and Berenice is still my favorite, and I defy all the haters out there who do not like. Did I say the Liberation? I meant the Rising.
You did.
Anyway, Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I like this one quite a bit. I felt like it was about on par with the first one, and if we have consistent quality, that gives me good hopes for book 3 for the Liberation. If I had to knock it down one, a lot less Visser in this book, and that was my guy. I was hoping for more of him in it, but I mean, it definitely fit with the story that Tregillis is telling. So I get it, that he couldn't be forefront. But on the plus side, and this will make Alan happy, it actually made me like Berenice more as a character, and have more investment in what was going on with her. So her and spoilers, Daniel.
Yeah, it was a good. I mean, it was like the loss of like we didn't get much Visser. I mean, he's at the beginning, and then I was wondering like, is that it? Like, is Visser going to show up again? Like, at least we got him again, like at the end. But the lack of Visser was made up for the fact of the lack of frickin' Anastasia Bell. Glory be and the saints be praised. Thank goodness she gets raffle stomped in the first chapter.
That
Like,
was so surprising.
That was brutal.
that was absolutely shocking. Like Belle getting absolutely raffle stomped in chapter 1. Sorry, spoilers for anybody who hasn't started the book. But yeah, getting raffle stomped in chapter 1 was pretty like whoa. And I mean I like that stuff. I like when authors are like, hey, here's something you didn't anticipate. That's cool. Charmaine, what are your thoughts? I mean, stop my phone from going on.
I really liked The Rising. I think I would put it slightly less under mechanical, but I do like The Rising a lot. I thought it was a great book 2, and I like how it kept a lot of the action that we saw in the first book. I think the only reason I would put it a little bit under mechanical was like the scenes where there's like more like the journey and the wandering. I kind of like
there is a lot of
disconnect.
wandering in this one.
Yeah, I kind of disconnect in the stories when those things start happening. I'm like, can we get to the
You are
destination?
not a quest person.
I'm not.
All right, that makes sense.
Unless it's Lord of the Rings. That's my exception.
Katie, what about you? I didn't even know you'd finished it.
Yeah, I finished it yesterday. like I said,
Hey.
I've had a crazy month. All right, absolutely insane. But I feel similarly to Charmaine. I think I would put it a notch down from the mechanical. And part of my reasoning for that, I think, is the mechanical had a lot, and not that this book wasn't thought-provoking, but the mechanical had a lot of very thought-provoking discussions surrounding it, and I found that lacking a little bit in this book. It was a lot of more plot focus on getting the characters to where they needed to be, which had some great moments, and I still really did enjoy the book. But I was lacking a little bit of that like mental intrigue for me. And until Daniel got to Mob, once I really enjoyed their interaction. So once he got there, it picked up for me a little bit. So.
I will say there is more of the cerebral like stuff from the first one in book 3.
Okay, it's not like I don't need every book to be like that, but that was one of the very strong pulls for me of book 1. So
yeah, Anitha, not even close.
I agree, Anitha. I agree.
I can't even with y'all. I can't even with y'all.
I disagree.
Here's my
here's the difference. No, Charmaine. Here is the difference. Go ahead.
I was going to say that for me with Berenice, I like Berenice when she's around other people, but when she's with the Clackers, I don't like Berenice. She's just awful to them, to me.
She also thought they were going to kill her the whole time, which they planned on. So like,
okay, here's the difference between Queen Mab and Berenice. Berenice is trying to save her country from complete annihilation. Mab is who knows what Mab is. Mab is way worse. So
a traitor to her kind.
Yeah.
When you're a mechanical, it really does. The motivation doesn't really matter.
Okay, so wow, that what an Anastasia Bell thing to say, Charmaine. So
no, it's not, because I'm saying you're still under the same subjugation. You're still being subjected to gaze.
Yes. No, it's the Geisa.
Geisa. So whether it's the Dutch, the French, or Mab, it doesn't matter.
See, here's the difference between Mob and Berenice for me, is that Mob had the opportunity to be a leader and really empower, like, these mechanicals weren't there. They could have been empowered by a good leader, but she chose to manipulate them by imposing more Giza. I don't think Berenice would make the same choice. I think, yes, Berenice manipulated Visser, but number one, he's just one person. I don't think she would have imposed Giza on him if he hadn't already had the thing in his head, and if it hadn't been like she was gonna save literally all of New France for it, I don't think she would have done it to more than one person, to make
The
it hard.
other thing is, like, Berenice is a human, and you can't, like, it is unreasonable for us to judge these people who have lived in this world where these mechanicals have been viewed as tools. Like,
Right.
it's ridiculous for us to be for Berenice to expect Berenice to be like, you know what, they're just like us. And Mab, but the thing is, Mab is worse because she was in captivity, we assume, like, because she had to have been created, and she got free somehow, and won't give her, like, her followers freedom.
Yeah.
Instead, she subjugates them too. Like, the humans, like that, they're horrible. Like, that's just who they are. They're bad. But like Mab's a clacker. Like, she should give her clackers freedom, but she doesn't trust them. She doesn't think they'll follow her. Stupid Mab. Look,
I just want
look,
Daniel
she tries to kill Daniel, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I also want Daniel to be free. Yeah, he did change the pronunciation of okay, so yeah, that's true, but I don't like it. It's just she's trying to save New France. Like, she's trying to save obliteration. Berenice, not Berenice, Mab isn't.
I also
Whatever.
think what Mab, whatever. I think what she did is, in my head, pretty well equivalent to what Anastasia Bell did, because she's literally imposing gears upon people who have none, or something of that nature. And Berenice, she didn't do that, and I don't think that she would, to be honest. I don't think Berenice.
Sal, you're wrong too. You're wrong too. It's not the greater good. It's the matter of the mechanical is enslaving one of its own, as opposed to humans who have always treated the mechanicals as tools. And then, whatever, Sal and Ethan are wrong. They don't know. Like, what do they know? Nothing is the answer to that question. Sam, how do you feel? Weigh in on here so I can tell you if you're right or wrong.
Even if, like, the actions, like, even if both of them are wrong, like, you kind of get the impression that, like, somebody who's doing it for their country, in that as being their ideal, is at least better than somebody who's, just out to be a tyrant and create their own mini cult out in the out in the Canadian woods somewhere. So for that alone, simply because of intent, and it's not like that intent makes it better, but like intent's not nothing. So for that alone, I would tip of the hat to Berenice. I don't think that what she's doing is like the best per se, or that's like, yay, go Bear. Like, as I'm reading towards the end, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, but I wish she hadn't. But I think even just for that reason, that you kind of like lean that way, it comes across less of, even if the actions are still wrong, maybe somebody who's making a bad decision for the right reasons rather than being a tyrant.
Also, Sal, yes, they have less responsibility, and adult children do have more responsibility than their parents. Mab is like, what, like 300, 200 years old or something? She is an adult. She is fine. She can make her own decisions, and they are bad. Mab, been tortured by who? Who's Mab been tortured by? Who's Mab been tortured by? Sal? Nobody?
That is correct.
Another difference between them two, I feel like, is Berenice does stuff when she feels like she has no other option. Like, she does bad things as a last resort, as like, it's got to be done. Mom chose this. Like, there were other options, I feel like. Like, she, but she's like, nah, I'm going to be a tyrant.
I like how we didn't even begin talking about this book before we jumped into the... How was she tortured by her leaseholders? By giving her, like... Are you saying like tortured as in all the mechanicals are tortured that way?
No, before she was free. Before Mab was free.
Does it say that?
I think when she's talking about there's a brief part where it goes into like her breaking free.
Okay. Sal, if Geisa are torture, why is she putting Geisa on the free clackers? So why is she imposing it? Sal, you're making my argument for me. All right. Sal's making my argument for me. All right. Sal and Anita, y'all can all caps it all you need to, but it doesn't make you. Berenice is arrogant. I mean, she is arrogant.
I would agree. Yeah.
She also thinks that she's saving New France. And she does think there's no other choice because look at what happens to New France.
Yeah.
Completely obliterated.
I think you can argue she literally had no choice sometimes. Like,
look. We're not going to agree on that. Whatever. Charmaine, Anita, and Sal can think that Mab is whatever.
I don't think I wouldn't choose the side of like stacking them up against each other, because to me, in the eye of the clocker, they're all awful.
I agree.
Okay, Sal. Now this is not true because before Berenice did anything, Anastasia Bell put that pineal gland in Visser to assassinate the Pope and the King. So it's not Berenice's fault. Like, that's just a convenient fiction that why? All right. So Master Sal here is a Dutch apologist here.
She's
Master
a tulip.
Sal is a Dutch apologist. Sal has a poster of Anastasia Bell on her wall. The hardest part for Sal to read was chapter 1 when Belle is trampled by the stem winder.
Master Sal does love a monarchy. We know that.
Okay, it is not Berenice's fault the forge was tanked. That is Jax's fault for the forge being tanked because Jax is bad at his job.
Yeah.
He's a little clumsy.
Yes, like he's the one that
has a swivel head
because he gets caught. Or whatever. Yes, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care. We are pro. I can't believe I'm saying it. We are pro France here. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I hate that I'm saying that because I hate.
That's right.
But I like the new French. Anyway, so that whole thing is Anita manipulating me into saying I'm pro France and I'll never live it down. So anyway, we begin with Berenice in captivity with the glass, the Spinoza glass that Daniel gave her, or that Jax gave her in her eyeball, which she doesn't know if it's going to work on stem winders, but she knows she's being fed like they did to Visser, and then she spits it out at the stem winder and it works, and the stem winder tramples Anastasia Bell, which is just brutal. And then you're right, Charmaine. There is a lot of running. There's a lot of running away in this particular book, because it's not just Jax who was spent all of book 1 running away, but in this one it's Berenice also. But I really like less than Jax. I didn't like Jax's little flight as much. I agree, Sal. The obsession. Tregillis' obsession with eye horror is too much. And that is not better in the third book. Like, the eye thing is not.
Oh, dear.
But, like, I thought, like, Berenice's journey was always laden for me with so much, like, just, like, dread. Because at any moment, something was going to go wrong. And Berenice doesn't have the... abilities that Jax does running away. Like she can't walk on the bottom of the ocean or whatever. And I thought it was particularly sinister when the two lost boys that are posing as servitors, freed her, but she knows that they're just trying to get info from her and then they're going to murder her. Like that, it just unnerved me. Like everything about Berenice's journey was just really unnerving to me. Again, in this book, it was Jax's chapters that were my least favorite, mostly because he's running around a lot, trying to escape people and find stuff to do, and Longchamp's just is the siege stuff, which I liked. But yeah, Sam, your thoughts just in general? Sam?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I really liked. I think I probably liked the Jack stuff more than you did, because the Queen Mab stuff was especially like it's been a whole question for the whole series. So getting to see that play out was good. But then, like you said, with Berenice, I think one of the things that keeps her stuff so interesting is that even like Jax has, I think, probably more anonymity than Berenice does, and there's more people out looking for her because of the positions that she's held in the past. And like you've mentioned before, Alan, I think in our last chat, or at least it was discussed in our last chat, of she reads like a character who's written to like actually be clever. Tregillis doesn't just tell us, that she's clever and smart. Like she reads, even if she makes bad decisions, like you can very much understand why she comes to those conclusions and how she reasons there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I liked the chapter in, I think it's chapter 18. It's the one where he's with Mab, and Mab starts like turning the regular while turning the regular clackers into into like drones or whatever. That was just really just unnerving to me. Like it was just disturbing to watch, because I mean, obviously I knew something else was going to happen than what I expected with Mab, but I didn't expect her to be a tin pot dictator. Like where it's just like, hey, come get your freedom. And by freedom, I mean my freedom. So it was just like, it just felt icky. And then they sacrifice at the mines. Yeah, that's right. They sacrifice the little mine overseer. Don't they throw him off a building or something? Or
he jumped.
He jumped.
Oh, he jumped. Yeah, but
they were gonna kill him. Yeah,
100%.
I did not feel right reading that chapter. Like Mab unnerved me. So I'm glad that Lilith helped Jax get away. And Daniel chooses to save the lens. I also hate Mab. Charmaine, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Mab. It seemed like very dystopian from the beginning. I don't know. For me, like as soon as like just the way that they like creeped up on him, like while he was wondering, like he's like, "There's people following me."
It was weird.
That felt very weird, and yeah, it just seemed off from the beginning. But also in the mine scene, like when I think Mab had asked for Daniel and Lilith like to come up, but then one of her loyalists got mad that she asked for them, so like she switches it to him, and then like she ends up like killing him, and then like that felt really strange because like Lilith turned to Daniel, was like, that was supposed to be us. I don't know. Yeah, it was very unnerving, that whole interaction between Mab and the Lost Boys. But I guess that's a fitting name because like the Lost Boys and Peter Pan is a very disturbing utopia.
We lost Alan.
Oh no. I am curious though, because Lilith was very aggressive when she found out Daniel had interactions with Berenice, and like he actually had positive views with humans. So I'm very interested to see if Lilith and Berenice ever have a reunion in the next book.
Yeah.
I feel like that has to be coming. Like I feel like that was set up. Like Lilith and Berenice have to meet. I feel like for sure.
What'd you say? What has to be set up?
I said I would be curious if Lilith and Berenice have a reunion in the third book.
Oh, gotcha.
Mr. Poker
Where is
over here?
Where is the mine? Like it's like northern Canada. Like
I think it's northeast. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Yes, Charmaine liked it. Sal's asking if you liked it overall.
I did. I did.
Katie, what about you? Spoiler thoughts on I guess we're talking about Daniel currently.
Yeah, overall I did really like. One quote that I thought was like really funny that like really described Mob well was, I don't remember what clacker said it, but they were like, whoever was experimenting on Mob just got like really unlucky when they happened to free her, and they happened to free a megalomaniac. Like, you know, they freed the one clacker that was like truly crazy.
She's also just made up of all those different like pieces. Like she's got the stem winder legs. And
do you think that's by choice?
Right.
Oh yeah. Was she given that, or did she do it?
Right.
Good point.
I think it was by choice.
She is just hideous. Like she's got all the different models and stuff. But we had to get Jax there to get repaired, because otherwise he was wobbling all over the place. So
I have to say, I think Jax / Daniel had my favorite moment of the book.
Well, it kind of made Mom of the. Oops,
sorry, but I think he had my favorite moment of the book at the end when he like foiled Berenice's plans and like actually started to step up for himself. I was like, yeah, go Daniel, like
yeah.
Oh
yeah, at the end where Daniel was not having it, like he didn't know what Berenice had done, but he knew that she had messed with it.
Yeah,
and he knew that he knows Berenice well enough, and this is what I like. Like he's not stumbling into. He's not like I'm a still naive looking at the world. No.
Yeah,
he knows Berenice, and if she messed with it. Like, it doesn't matter what she said. Like, she lied, and she's going to do what she has to do to save France or whatever. And so, he messes with it. And Berenice at the end is like, that's not what I did. And he's like, I know. And she's like, all right. But she didn't even get mad. Like, she doesn't even get mad.
There's like, nothing she could do about it.
Yeah. Like, Berenice understands the game. She's like, all right, fair enough.
I think she was scared more than she was like, oh, crap. This is
for sure.
And I did like that side of Berenice. Like, you could, like, even though I don't agree with the things that she does, you can tell like she does it out of not just out of motivation for loyalty for France, but also out of just like fear. Like, I think deep down, like underneath all the bravado and like the spy stuff, like she's just afraid.
Yeah, and I think we see her make a lot of decisions based on that in this one. Like, again, like when she's captive of the two like pretending lost boys, when they're unraveling the grammar, which those of you who read LPQ, them trying to figure out the alchemical grammar for animating the mechanicals felt exactly like when they're trying to piece together the grammars to summon the Ondat. Anita, did you get that at all? Maybe it's just me. Anyway, but yeah, like Berenice is absolutely terrified. I like how scarred she is by the rogue military clacker from book 1 when it kills her husband and it killed all of those people. Like, she is like permanently, as you would be, damaged by that. And so she's
literally hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, her eyeball and everything else.
So it makes sense because like when you're afraid of something, like out of preservation, you try to control what you're afraid of. So it makes sense why she wouldn't want them to be free.
Yeah.
Right.
I think.
What about the siege at the end? We haven't talked about Longchamps a lot. Longchamps' POVs are all basically leading up to that final siege of Marseille in the West, where I thought it was good. Like, it is a desperate stand for the French. And, you kind of see maybe how they're going to get out of it, maybe. But Montmorency, or whatever his name is, Duke Montmorency or whatever, the dude who, like, traded all the chemicals to the French, like, he screwed them over. They have nothing to fight these clackers with. And, they sprayed some, and they don't know the difference between the clackers that have the epoxy resistant stuff, the ones that can like break out of it, right? Yeah. So they just have to hope that it's the ones that can, that they can epoxy down, and it's not one of the ones that is resistant to it. But
I did.
go ahead.
I was gonna say I thought what was really cool, like with France, I love how like their strong suit isn't alchemy, but it's like chemistry, and like I like how like some of their defenses, like with the moat, like where it's like it's liquid, but like once there's enough clackers in there, they shoot an arrow with like a reactive chemical and it solidifies it. I'm like, they're really like they're using everything that they have and like they're being really like inventive to defend themselves. So I thought that was cool to see during the siege parts.
Sam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I don't. The word that I was thinking of, because I was thinking of as we were as I was like flipping through parts of the book and getting through some of like the action bits that Tregillis writes, especially with the end battle. The one word that I came up with for it was like the way, because of the world building and like you mentioned, Charmaine, you kind of have like chemistry versus alchemy. Like his battle scenes almost feel like quirky. Like it's not, if you get like a standard medieval set fantasy where it's like, here we fight with swords, or in another book here we fight with magic, or in another book here we fight with spears instead of swords, we'll shake it up. It was just funny in this one, like just how different battle works and develop things, and so I really enjoy that element of just how out there a lot of those parts of his world building are. And with just how out there some of this stuff is, on the one hand I'm like, I can see why maybe this isn't like the most popular series out there, or why I don't hear everybody talking about it, but at the same time, like a breath of fresh air, they would find something like this. But yeah, I don't know, I think especially the action parts of it just really set it apart and make it something different and interesting.
Yeah. Katie, your thoughts?
I definitely agree with a lot of what Sam said. Like, I feel like when there's some other books, when I read the combat, I start to skim eventually.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, and he swung his sword, he parried, whatever, and you get tired. But Tregillis kept me interested the whole time. Like it always felt inventive and creative, but also like made sense. Wasn't just like off the wall. Them blowing up the outer wall.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was epic. That was so good, and the way that it had been designed for 100 years or whatever to have explosive in it, I thought that was genius.
Because they knew that eventually they would be making a last stand at Marseille in the West.
Yeah, the French are nothing but, if not real. I mean, they're just very down to earth, and I think I really appreciate about them. Whereas the Dutch are like living in high heaven, like you have no concept of reality. But the French are just very, very down to earth. And to be honest, talking about Longchamp, I am so surprised he did not die sooner. I mean, I knew he was gonna die in the book. I knew there was no way he was gonna see that much combat and not make it. But the fact that he made it to the end,
with him and his pickaxe.
Yeah, he was truly a symbol, and
I know. I love the Sarge though. I love the sergeant, but rip the sergeant too.
Yeah. Also, like how he kept joking about like, I have somewhere to be. I need to go die out here.
Yeah.
And I love that he's trained up the candle maker's daughter or whatever as like a junior officer. I like that the French, Tregillis does a really good job with like every decision the French makes is for their self-preservation. Like everything they do, like it's almost like if the Dutch were gone, what would the French do? Because their entire existence is in response to the Dutch and the attack that they know is coming. So everything they do is trying to extend their life a little bit, is maybe repel the next attack.
Right.
Just from the fact that Marseille in the West was built with explosives in its walls. because they knew they'd need it. And I like in the final battle that every time the French come up with an answer to what the Dutch are throwing, the Dutch respond and counter it. We see the French having to be forced to bust out the steam harpoons and the lightning guns, which is, like we talked about in the last one, electricity and steam they've just ignored. But they're like, well, we're out of chemicals, so I suppose we're going to have to use this. And then the Dutch are like, okay, we have a clacker shooting cannon.
Because why not?
Like, why not? And this is, what about the scene early with Visser climbing the walls of the tower like bare?
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Visser's body.
Poor Visser, man. Like
the pickaxe.
Visser is just like, it's just crazy. Like, and I don't know. I feel so bad for Visser. Visser is, I don't know. He's not doing what he wants to be doing, but
no, that chase up the side of the, I forget what it's called, the spire.
Yeah.
That was intense. I will say Tregillis is really good at writing action scenes and like chase scenes. Like I'm like engaged the whole time. Like he's really good at pacing it out, but like where it feels fast paced, but like also like slow at the same time.
Yeah, and y'all are right. It's not a lot of the same kind of stuff because you don't know what he's gonna do or like what tactic they're gonna pull or and like watching a servitor clacker, like he did a really good job with making the reader terrified of the military clackers. And he like just from the one interaction we had in the first book. So when a servitor was coming at them, I'm like, all right, they're gonna be okay. Like they got that. But whenever he said like a military clacker was coming over the wall, I'm like, oh crap, everyone's gonna die. Because those things mow everybody down. Oh my gosh. Crazy stuff in this. Go ahead.
I really like seeing like the everyday people in New France, like during the siege, like you have the people who are trying to like get out of recruitment, and then like you have like the street preachers trying to con people. I'm like, why are you conning people? You're gonna die. I don't know. And then like, but also like once like towards the end of the siege, like when they're like almost out of like soldiers, like you see like the smiths coming up and like the pigeon people I forget their name coming out to fight. I'm like, that was really cool to see like the everyday French person like engaging in the siege.
Yeah, I mean they have to. It's like this. It's this or complete annihilation. And I also like the siege because as it's happening, like you're seeing Berenice and Jax or Daniel kind of make their way back, and it's like, are they going to make it in time? And if they do, what's going to happen?
Right.
And it turns out that they went ahead and freed all the clackers. Oh my gosh, that was wild when the clackers are freed, and some of them just turn on. Some of them keep fighting. Some of them turn on.
They hate humans. Yeah, they hate humans.
Mm-hmm. And some of them just take off running. They're like, "Oh, we don't get to be anymore. Cool, bye."
Yeah. Talking about Visser, my heart broke for him.
What's the line at the end of the book? I think it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
But my heart broke a little bit for Visser when we saw the scene where the priest was like, "Yeah, we've been praying over him, but we just can't save his soul." And you know how much of a devout Catholic Visser is, and how internally he's just distraught. I mean, that broke like more than all the physical mutilation of him. Like that in itself, I was like, man, that guy's literally being told he doesn't have a soul, and there's nothing he can do about it. Like, ugh.
Yeah, it is painful to read the Visser stuff. It is. Tregillis did a good job setting all that up in book 1, and then so we don't actually have to see as much about
Mhm.
Visser in this one for it to be as effective.
I was
Losing
just so
Longshanks was a blow, though.
yeah. I was so happy for Visser when he got to finally just sleep. I'm like,
Yeah.
he deserved that sleep.
What did they do? What clarify with me? What happens to Visser at the very end? Do they free him from the thingy?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
he's freed. I don't know if it was with which syntax though. I don't know if Berenice. I think she tested the one that was used on the clackers because Jack
Yes.
changed it. I think.
Yeah, I think he used
Yes.
it on Visser before they
And then she
Yes.
tried to
They-
slide the other one in, and Jax was like, "Nah, homie."
saw it. Yeah, and then they just old school slide projector it over to the across
Yeah.
everybody.
Crazy.
It's good stuff. Yeah, this book there's a lot that I guess needs to happen in this book for book 3 to take place. Book 3 is good, and here's why I like what Tregillis has done here. There are so few fantasy series, and it's fantasy series, so you think it would happen more often, where the author really goes for it in a complete world state change, meaning the world that we knew is not the same anymore. Because and I'm assuming that doesn't happen as often, because that's much harder to write, because you have to change everything, because everything is done differently now. And there's only a couple other series that I know that do this, and the fact that Tregillis has literally world state changed right now it's just cool to read. Whatever happens, I'm just like, you know what? You went for it. You could have played it safe and just been like a handful or whatever, and but no, you went ahead and freed all those clackers there. All right, okay. And gave them the power to free each other. It's that self-propagating thing that they have, so they can all go and get to everybody else. And so that, just seeing what Tregillis does is, it's just it's ballsy. It is certainly not.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what will happen next. Is like you said, when you said earlier, who would New France be without having to, their whole existence is trying not to be taken over by the Dutch. So for the setup of the third book, it's you now have a group of clackers who are no longer under Gage. So what are they gonna do? How do they go on existing, not having that burden on them? But also, where's New France at?
Right.
Where are they gonna be when they're no longer fighting the French and their clackers? And then what are the Dutch gonna be now that they don't have their clackers, at least in the new world? I'm sure the ones in the old world are still under Gage, but how do they go from there? So it is kind of like a board wipe, if you will.
Yeah.
So, what are y'all's, Sam? What are some thoughts? What are some things you want to see in book 3, and what are some predictions for book 3?
Yeah. Well, just to bounce off what you guys were saying about the world changing book to book, and all of that. Part of what that does, and I don't know about you guys, but for me as a reader, that just leaves me guessing as to what's going to happen next, because it's not following, because the world building is so different, and because he's willing to do really gutsy things. It's all right, it feels like we're kind of breaking some molds here, and it, as a reader, it keeps me on my feet, for sure. I don't know, the book 3 is called the Liberation, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be a lot more clacker heavy than even the first 2 books have been. I'm not terribly good at predictions, other than I know I said after book 1 that I don't think Visser is going to get a happy ending, but I want him to, and I still stand by that. I don't know how this ends happy really for anyone other than potentially Daniel. So yeah, I don't know. Daniel and Lilith get married and have clacker kids together. I don't know where it goes.
I think
from
Lilith
here.
just wants to be left alone.
There's a lot about in book 3. So I'm eager for you guys to read it.
Probably.
Charmaine?
I think I think there's going to be a lot of like, I think more like the philosophical conversations, especially amongst the clackers. I think we'll have like opposing views on what they should be doing with their newfound liberation, and I think there might be a quest to set free their clacker brethren in the other side of the ocean. And then I think we'll also try to see New France try to rebuild, and go from
Sal,
there.
we've talked about the book, Sal. You and I have spoken about the book being finished. Like we have talked back and forth. Katie, what about you?
This one's a little harder. I feel like after book 1, I felt like I knew where book 2 was going, and I don't think there was anything that really surprised me all that much. Like I had a feeling that Queen Mom was going to show up, that we were going to see New France attacked, that Berenice was going to get up to some trouble and make some waves, and I feel like we saw all those things happen. But now that all this has happened, I'm kind of like, where are we going now? I feel like there are options about where it could go. I hope that we see some Queen Mob versus Daniel. I hope that we see some sort of reckoning there, that she gets put in her place a little bit or something, I'm also curious to see how, we haven't really seen any reaction of the Guild of Alchemists to any of this. So we don't know how, maybe they could change their language of, compulsion. Maybe they could, is there an easy way to fix it? Like, I don't know. And how are they going to address it? And, because I think ideally a lot of us would like to see them like crumpled, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're going to fight back in a lot of ways. And I'm really, really curious to see how that is, addressed.
Nice. I need y'all to read the first 2 chapters and then ping me. Because the first 2 chapters are really good. Like they're really good.
Starting off with a bang.
They are. I'll just say that Tregillis wastes no time getting into it.
All right.
That's what I was going to say. He's very concise in his storytelling. Like these are not long books, but like a lot happens.
Yeah. It's the same in book 3. It is fast. Like it's even faster paced than I don't think there's a lull at all in the freaking liberation. It's just like it's all like, all right, here we go. So it's good stuff.
Another prediction, I think Berenice is gonna die. So that's just mine.
We shall see. We'll see what the world state has left.
I don't think Visser's gonna die though. I will say that. I feel like Visser's gonna stay alive.
He's the one.
I will say, for Sal and I, this is me and Sal's favorite of the 3. So we shall see. I want to see where this stands with you guys. This one, I think this one's going to be more, because it's. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I was just going to say with one other comment as sort of on something that Katie mentioned, which was Daniel and Mab kind of going head to head. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because there was like this whole discussion in the Discord about Jax picking the name of Daniel and like, wait, is this like misunderstanding a biblical reference? Because it's like the guy coming out of the fire, but that wasn't like actually Daniel. It's just in the book of Daniel. And I think that the symbolism of the name is a bit broader, more of the idea of like one who's living in a state of freedom. Was more how I took it, why he took on that name. So if you take that and take like Mab, that there sort of be a like, what do you do with your free will? So you have Daniel on the one side and Mab on the other side. So I'm gonna borrow Katie's prediction. I think that's probably I like that. I'd like to see that happen.
Right. It's the Daniel in the Lion's Den story. Sal, Daniel is thrown into by.
I think it's the Shadrach, Meshach.
Oh, Shadrach. Yeah, sorry. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are thrown into the fire. Yeah, Daniel doesn't actually come out the fire. What? I even know that. And I'm sitting here like, oh, it makes sense, Daniel. Yeah. So I think Daniel is mixing up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel. He should have called himself Shadrach, and that would have made more
That'd
sense.
be dope.
I feel like not a lot of people would have gotten that reference. Though. Like,
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's more general than that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'm eager to see. I think this one's going to be, like you said, Katie. I think we all kind of knew where the Rising was heading, more or less.
Yeah.
And so the Liberation, I think is I was not able to predict much of it. So I think it's going to be more divisive. With where people stand on it. So I'm eager to talk about. I think we're gonna have more to say about book 3. Well, guys, we're almost at an hour. And that's good. It's book 2. There's a lot of, like Charmaine says, there's a lot of traveling in this one. But I'm eager to see what y'all think about the third book. So thank you guys for joining me. Chat, if y'all have not, well, y'all have read it, but you should start book 3. Anitha, you too. But yeah, book 3 is great. Book 3 is great. So you guys enjoyed the rest of y'all's night, and we will be back in sometime in April to talk about Liberation. Bye, everybody.